This is our final project. Let's get into it. Exploring the connections, tensions, and influences that arise when examining these topics, that is, the scientific revolution, the Protestant Reformation, the French Revolution, and the Age of Enlightenment. When we view these collectively, I see connections immediately. Each of these people groups either saw something that was an injustice, something that was unrighteous, something that they felt they needed to rebel against, and something that they felt needed to be new, something that needed to be forged, a pathfinder. So each of these people groups, no matter if they believed alike, obviously they didn't in this area, or not, things got done, and the connection between that is that people, we all have eternity on the inside of us. The Bible talks about that. And so I believe it's in Lamentations. And so that's the connection. Each people group knew something needed to change, something needed to be new, something needed to be invented. You know what I'm saying? And then the tensions is that, again, we all have different opinions. So there wasn't everything done perfectly, unfortunately. There wasn't even everything done necessarily sugar-coated, which, I mean, things necessarily shouldn't be sugar-coated. And some people probably were jealous because of certain things that Galileo was doing. And then with the Age of Enlightenment, not everybody was included, not everybody understood, but things got done. Next question. In what ways do revolutions shape power dynamics in political systems? I think of this straight away with culture. My youth pastor always says, you set the culture by the standards that you set and then also by what you allow. I think with each person, and specifically I'm going to focus on Martin Luther for this, each person, and there was a person in each of these series of the age of life where they stood up for the culture that they knew needed to be set straight. Martin Luther saw that certain things in the Bible were being believed wrong. So he made this 95 Thesis. He stood up. He spoke boldly. So I think that in what ways revolutions shape power dynamics in political systems, he did that by being a man of courage, by being a man of boldness, and by speaking truth. This is what actually builds society. This is what is a benefit to humanity. This is what builds up others. I'm just going to read through some of our primary sources because these are certain things that I pulled from, I believe I chose 4 primary sources. I don't think I'll get to read through all of this just with time, but I'm going to read the primary sources because I thought they were important with the questions. But this one's one of my favorite by El-Wardi, I believe his name was. The love of corruption kills, which first of all, I just feel like that's just an amazing statement, such a thought-provoking statement. This is so sad that El-Wardi believed that this plague was God's punishment on the people. This makes me sad. This makes me think of something that Martin Luther might have disagreed with, and even if he didn't disagree with, this is a type of thing that he might have put in his 95 Thesis nailed to the wall. Like, why would you say that God's put this plague as a punishment on the people? Next one, with the Protestant Reformation. All the purposes mentioned in relation to the philosophy of worship and the manner in which a Muslim is required to conduct his prayer makes it manifestly clear that the benefit of prayer is drawn by the worshipper himself, and in no way it can be taken as a favor of God. I thought this quote was very interesting from one of our primary sources concerning the era of the Protestant Reformation, because I think it's true. I think that we can have as close of a relationship with God as we want, and I think concerning that, again with Martin Luther, I think that might have been one of the things that was a controversial subject, like many of the subjects of today are, like abortion, gender identity, all of the things. In the past, I only focused on personal dreams, but now I'm focusing on a national dream that we all share. I thought this was such a beautiful thing that incorporated all of our areas of learning, that once we come to this realization that we are focusing on a national dream that we all share, that we can actually do that can actually be a choice, I think then things like this won't happen. Things like from Israel won't happen. However, there's a whole thing of sovereignty with God and the rapture, but that's not a part of this course. Sorry about that, Professor or Dr. Britt, excuse me. But kings, this is our last primary source, although their power comes from on high, has been said, should not regard themselves as master, as that power to use it as their pleasure. Our forefathers did not use their power as their pleasure. They did it for the benefit of mankind. The Age of Enlightenment, even though, of course, just like with everything, there was humans and mistakes, I believe was necessary. And so as much as I would like to read through all of the other comments that I chose because I thought that they were connected with this final project, I hope that you enjoyed this, Dr. Britt, and I really enjoyed this course, and I hope to continue to further my education in this way. Thank you.